Wow.
Wow. Wow, this is some really deep stuff. I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something. I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me. And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it. And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before. It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She like hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. Like she's like melted into like my chest. It's like ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session. I feel light, like, you know, when you hit that first joint, like in the morning, and you.
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Well, do you want to chat or do you want to get right into IFS?
It's okay, but both ways, I guess. I think just last couple of weeks have been hard for me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a month or more have been hard, but yeah, I just cried.
You just cried earlier today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where the sadness comes. It's almost, I don't know, it might be a lot of my parts.
Yeah.
But
all
yeah,
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's that, and yeah, I think I just might be depressed. So
Okay, we can look at that. We can talk to those parts, perhaps. See if they'd like to change how they're showing up, or see if they have a message for you.
Yeah, we can try, I think.
Okay. So, which sensation do you feel like is the biggest right now when you just look inside, in or around your body? What's causing the most big sensation?
Heaviness in the chest.
A heaviness?
Yeah, it's heaviness in the chest and just like mostly that, but also like losing the breath maybe as well.
All right. What else do you notice about it? Can you just focus on it more and see what else you notice about it?
Yeah, I can. It's like trembling. I can feel it, and it's beating hard as well.
Yeah. And how do you feel towards this part?
Yeah, I don't feel it as a part. I feel I am just sad.
Yeah. Okay. When you think about us talking to that kind of sadness as if it were a part, does something else come up and get in the way? Does some other part object to that?
No.
Okay. And how do you feel about experiencing that sadness right now? Like,
Yeah, I
are
feel.
you okay with being sad in this conversation or just right now?
Yeah, I feel okay. I'm like crying. I just wish I could yet like have some kind of dialogue.
Yeah. So maybe just see if you can let the system know all of it, that you're okay feeling this way and that you want to be able to learn from it and communicate with it, whatever messages it has for you. And see if it wouldn't mind just turning down that, if it's responding in a really strong way, or if the sadness is really strong, see if you can ask it if it would just turn it down 1% or 10% so that we could kind of examine it, get to know it, be curious about it.
Yeah.
What was that? I didn't understand.
Oh no, I was just. It's just me blowing my nose.
Oh. That's what we get for doing just audio calls.
Yeah, I feel calmer now.
And are you feeling curious about the sadness? See what happens if you let it know that you're curious about it and that you want to get to know it better. See how it reacts.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Are you still, you mentioned the ways that you were feeling it, like the heaviness in the chest. And so that's changed a little bit. So how are you aware of it now?
Yeah, I don't feel it anymore.
Oh. I wonder if you could let it know that you do want to communicate with it, and maybe that you appreciate that the feelings aren't overwhelming, but just that you want to communicate with it. Just see if you get any kind of response. It might not be a verbal response or anything you can share with me necessarily, but just see.
I didn't feel the sadness.
You say you can feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're still okay with just being with it and feeling it now?
Mm-hmm.
Try asking it what it wants you to know. Just wait for the answer.
I can just feel like sadness and how my body tensed up, like my stomach, my heart, and everything. Almost like she wants to say something, but she can't. And then I can feel the, I forgot the name of it in English, the throat being tensed.
Maybe remind this part again, and I'm reminding you that you don't have to share anything with me. You don't have to, if you do share something with me, we don't have to publish it. And if this part just wants to show you anything it wants to show you, that can just be between you and it, and just let it know that you're curious.
I can't connect to it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could thank it for trying. You could thank it for sharing the way that for giving you the emotions that it gives you, and that's its way of communicating. And, you said that it was a she. You said it kind of felt like it wanted to speak, but it didn't. So that might be a lot of progress compared to having no contact with it at all. So you could thank it for that. could check again if there's any parts of you that are concerned about contacting this part. Parts that don't want you to do this work.
Yeah, there is a part of me that just thinks it's like I'm sick or it's some kind of biological thing or hereditary thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I think other parts are sad about it.
And I want to make sure that we're not dismissing, by us trying to talk to a part doesn't mean that there aren't biological and hereditary things going on. I think that that's perfectly reasonable for a part of you to think that, and could be truth to a lot of that.
Yeah, that part of me just helps sometimes to be more in peace, like with whatever is happening with me. Just telling me like I'm not like I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be in control of what's happening with me sometimes.
Yeah. Makes sense. Would it be okay if we talk to that part a little bit? Just to understand it?
I
Don't have to.
we can try.
Okay. I mean, I have that part too, and I appreciate that kind of part that's always is looking out for. It's skeptical about any, inner work, and it's wise about, the real biological, physical things in the world that are affecting us. So I appreciate that. How about you? How do you feel towards that part?
I feel okay towards that part. It's they're not skeptical about their. They just want to balance like the parts of me that wants to compulsively heal, or those who are tired of trying. It's more of a part that wants to calm, I guess. Calm other parts.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You've talked about that with me before, that part that wants to compulsively heal.
Yeah, it's another part that wants to compulsively heal. This part is just trying to leave.
And it wants to balance those other parts so that
Yeah, they don't want system to be overwhelmed.
Right. Yeah, that's a very important job. Can you show that appreciation to that part now and see how it reacts?
Yeah, it feels good.
Great. Maybe if it's useful, you tell me, you could ask it more about that overwhelm that it's afraid of and kind of what that would look like and what it, what it's afraid of. Just to understand it.
Yeah, the first word that came to my mind was it's afraid of like falling into psychosis or something like that. But I don't know which part of me said that.
But yeah, there's definitely a part that's saying that. So again, it makes sense for this kind of manager part to want to balance all of that.
It's showing me when I did EMDR therapy, how it helped, and that it wants to do it again.
Great. It's telling you what it wants from you in the future.
Yeah, it's it's sad that we can't do it anymore.
You can't do EMDR anymore.
Yes, because there are no like therapists or with also no money, and that particular therapist in US.
Yeah. Is there more that it wants to show you about how the system can be helped, or anything?
And I think this part just wants to rest because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like maybe this part or other parts sometimes they don't. When I try to do meditations, maybe they stop me or I don't know, hinder.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the same, like tired parts.
Yeah. Tired of working so hard on this in this way. Maybe you could ask the part if it didn't have to do the job that it's tired of, if you could heal the things that it's looking out for or the things that it's protecting you from, how would it rather spend its energy?
Yeah, the first two things that came was sadness, and then playing volleyball or reading.
Volleyball or creating, you said?
Oh, just reading or studying.
Oh, reading, yeah.
Or playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm. Try asking this part how old it thinks you are.
Yeah, they think I am little, I don't know, 11 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and update it on your real age. Just see how it reacts to that.
It feels calmer, but it's sad for 11 years old. And I feel sadness and something happening on my, like, pulsation in my head, like calm.
Yeah. Sad for the 11-year-old part. And that 11-year-old part might be the one causing that sensation. I don't know. Just let it know that you understand that and that you feel it. And that you want what it wants. You want to heal.
So, I don't know, somehow this part, or maybe it's another part who is like sad that at 11 years old I had concussion and it thinks that it's affected my, like, abilities, intellectual abilities a lot or something like that. Because
You're getting more of that kind of information about your biological history and how it might affect your health.
yeah, I also have part that just have parts or thoughts that like I can't finish something or not doing something good enough, and I just feel like somehow this is connected, and this part is trying to tell me that, or yeah, she's just trying. She just wants me to be more in peace.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, let her know that you're on the same team, and that you appreciate what she's looking out for. And let her know maybe that you can take some of that burden off of her so that she doesn't have to work so hard, giving you all that information, or in that way, and get your attention in that way. I mean, that's possible. It's possible for you to do that healing work, and then she wouldn't have to work so hard.
Yeah, I don't know what. It's just another thought that came to me. I don't know which part is it. It just says that like this is how my system get used to like receiving help, is to like fail or be sick or do something to get a sympathy from close people.
Yeah.
Or parents.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Let it know that makes sense to you. And how do you feel about that when you learn that about this part, feeling that way?
Yeah, I feel very sad.
Yeah. Are you okay feeling sad?
Yeah, I want to feel that.
Yeah. I think you're doing great. You have a lot of parts, or at least or maybe one part giving you a lot of different information, and you're hearing it all, and you're staying with it all. It's a lot. But everything I'm hearing from these parts makes sense, that they would feel that way. So maybe you can ask whichever part you're able to contact now what it needs from you in the future.
Yeah, just wants for me to learn how to support myself.
Mm-hmm. And what about in relation to these parts? Does it have a request about how you interact with it?
It wants to like shake out, like, or let me cry if I need later, or
yeah. And how would you feel about that? I'm not asking you to do it here with me necessarily, but how do you feel about honoring that request for that part?
I'll do it.
Yeah. So what else needs to happen in there while you're doing this inner work?
Like it just the thought that's coming. It wants for me to learn like how to fight.
How to fight?
Like fight, yeah, like metaphorically fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I still feel a bit of heaviness, but not as much.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe when it's thinking about giving some of that tough job it does to you, it would feel better about it if it could trust you to really fight for it, to fight for that goal of healing. Or am I interpreting that right?
Yeah, or like do something physical about it, or also try, to be more consistent.
Yeah. This part is a wise part. I would just stay with it and just keep asking it what it would look like for you to help it out. It sounds like it has a lot to tell you. And I think it won't be able to let go of its job until it can trust that you're able to do that healing. And you wouldn't want it to. You want it to. It's doing an important job. And maybe a message from me to it or to you is that, I'm not super experienced in IFS, but my understanding is we all have that ability to heal. Maybe not every physical ailment, but if there are parts that are burdened or sad or longing for a connection, that we can provide that for them. The self can.
it wants me to be strong and to help my body, because I have a lot of, I don't know, it's concussion or other things, but I do have a lot of, like, especially when I meditate, some itching would come up, or
Yeah.
like what's that name? Seizures. I
Oh,
experience them, like, not like extreme ones, but like this feeling of numbness.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that might be a great place to start. How are you feeling now, just overall?
I'm feeling better. I'm just thinking this part.
You're thanking it?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And you can thank all the other parts that, well, they kind of had to get out of the way to let you talk to this one part. They gave you space. It's hard to talk to any of them when there's 5 different things coming at you at once. So whether that's 5 different parts or that's one part, just, overwhelming, then it's the only way I think it can work is when it gets turned down or they go one at a time, which they did.
Yeah, I don't know if it was one part or several of them, or felt, but yeah, they're just saying that they need me to hold them, and like they want comfort.
Yeah. And how do you feel when you learn that from them?
Yeah, I understand them, and I feel sad for them. I mean,
And is that something you can do? Can you just hold them? Can you hold them now or ever? I mean, have you done that?
I could do it with EMDR. I did it well because I didn't like, it was almost unconscious thing. Like I because we stopped the EMDR process, and I would calm my parts, or I would update them, and
Yeah. Well,
I think
go ahead.
they just miss that kind of contact that I used to have with them in
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, that makes sense. So would it be okay with you to try that now with just this one part? Or just to invite it and see what that would feel like?
Yeah, I need to push myself to do it consistently.
Yeah, but what if you
As I
just try it now just to see if you can do it on your own and see what it's like?
Which part are you talking about?
Any part that you can see or communicate with right now.
I only hear some like rational thoughts, mostly.
Yeah. So when you try to hold this part, you're not able to. You hear thoughts coming up about not being able to do that, or
hold this part.
Yeah. Wasn't that what you were talking about? You were talking about holding them?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I hugged myself and I feel a bit better. I think I misheard you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, what I was suggesting. Okay, well, if we can just back up for a second. What I heard from you was that with your EMDR, you were able to hold the parts and be more connected with them, and that they missed that. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Then I did it. Then I just like hugged myself and tried to comfort myself.
What about the parts? Are you able to see? Are you able to hold a part? The parts that miss you and want connection from you.
I can only with like a smaller part of me.
Okay.
And the rational part is like it's standing near, but it's like hesitant or like smirking.
Yeah.
And the other ones I don't see right now or feel. With EMDR, I used to we used the exercise with like sitting them on a table.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do that right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to, but
it's all right. It's good to know that that's what your parts want from you. And it's good to know that you're capable of it. Maybe IFS isn't the way that you're capable of it. Maybe there's other ways for you to access that better, that self energy that can hold the parts. And I think it would make sense to bookmark this maybe for another conversation, but this part of you, this rational part that that has its doubts or whatever it's thinking about you holding parts, I think that might be a very important part to get to know and continue getting to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be the one that needs to be held the most or the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might feel left out. If it feels like you're healing other parts but not it, or anything, I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, I have that part too.
Yeah. Made sense. It's as it's just started to remind me about all people that it was hard for him to like say bye to or to break up with.
Yeah. Yeah. All the parts have something that has hurt them that they're working to counteract. And this rational part, when you think about holding it, it opens up and lets you know about pain that it's had.
I don't know if it's another part of me or just it's just like he's been the biggest manager for me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe my system just kind of pushed him aside for a little bit because it was like too rational and it didn't let like the healing or make the feeling come.
Yeah.
But one way or another, I was always like other parts are rebelling.
Yeah. Makes sense. And you're making a map. You make a map of all of these parts as you hear from each of them. You can start placing them, what emotions they cause, what other parts they're fighting with. You talked about kind of putting them on a table, and you can do that. That's an IFS practice too. Of you can draw them. You can get some people use like dolls or toys. Little toys, little action figures or whatever, and they'll set them out. Just ways of kind of representing these parts so that you can see who's who and not just be overwhelmed by a bunch of voices and a bunch of parts trying to get your attention all at once. I think you're doing great. It sounds to me like you're doing it just right, and it's hard. And I admire that you're, you are fighting. You're fighting for healing and feeling better.
Oh, thank you. I think I'll try to meditate maybe before going to sleep as well, like in half an hour or so.
Okay. Is there anything more you want to talk about with me?
How was your day? Or how is your day going?
This is the highlight of it so far. Actually, I had a really good I do a check-in with my parts every morning, and I had a really nice time with that this morning. And then it's really warm, even though it's the middle of December. It's sunny and bright and warm today, so I have all my windows open and wearing my t-shirt. And being able to work with you is really, really great. I just really like doing this, so appreciate you.
I'm very grateful for you. I think my parts trust you, so
it takes time, but I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, you are helping me a lot.
It's great. Well, I hope we get to talk again soon, and we can maybe do it next week, same time.
Oh yeah, that will work. Yeah, I think it's a good time. Hope you have a good weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Zikri, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.